What's up, friends? Hey, if you want to learn how to run paid advertising to book out your 2024 and 2025, 2026, 2027 calendars with weddings, charging whatever price point you want, absolutely working with your dream ideal clients, this episode is for you. So, without further ado, I'm going to say, hey, my name is Peyton Helm, and welcome back to the Full-Time Wedding Pro podcast. I'm super excited for this, and I wanted to make a couple announcements before we dive into this episode. Number one is this is going to be a very video-focused video episode. And the reason why is because I'm going to be screen sharing and I'm going through a little whiteboard presentation-ish kind of thing in this episode. So with that said, if you're on Spotify and you can watch the video, go for it. However, if you want to look up the podcast on YouTube and subscribe, just search up Full-Time Wedding Pro Podcast. You will find it. There's a few videos on there. I've not done every podcast episode video. Most of them have been audio only, but I am stepping into the YouTube game so that way I can make video. Long form content's great, and then cutting it down to short form reels and TikToks and things of the sort, just to perfect my social media strategy, which is a tip of its own. There you go. So anyway, in this episode, we're going to be covering everything paid ads. Pretty much, I just want to be showing you guys my paid ad strategy that I am not only using for myself, but also teaching inside of my coaching program, Full-Time Wedding Pro. Also, on that note, this podcast is sponsored by and always is sponsored by my coaching program, Full-Time Wedding Pro. In this coaching program, I help photographers and filmmakers in the wedding industry refine their branding, attract ideal clients, charge what the hell they want to charge, run paid advertising to get ideal clients in the door, and then scale that, whether you do it with paid advertising or organic marketing after that. It's a full coaching program with a course and ongoing coaching calls with me, both in a group setting and one-on-one. If you want more information, go to fulltimeweddingpro.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Peyton Helm. The link for both of those is in the show notes. And feel free to shoot me a message, ask me any questions, go through my results highlight on my Instagram. There's the results, the crazy, insane results that our students are getting. It's amazing. And in this video podcast episode, I'm going to be showing you how we do that with paid advertising specifically. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share screen. And if you guys are, if you're just listening to this on, Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever, I will do my best to make sure that this translates well for audio only. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So in this video, podcast episode, I gotta stop saying video, but because it's both. But anyway, we're going to be covering three things. Okay, so number one, it's going to be paid ad myths. Number two, I'm going to be talking about how to actually make advertising work for you instead of it not working and you wasting money. And then I'm going to go into breaking down the actual strategy that we are running for 2024 and beyond, unless things change again, because things change quite a bit. That's a constant with paid advertising, right? Like I talk to a lot of people who come to me for the program, and they're like, yeah, I ran ads in like 2019, 2020, or I invested in an ads coach, and the ads coach is still teaching ads like they ran them in 2019 and 2020. A lot of people do that, and it really grinds my gears because so many things have changed. Even in just the last year, like I've revamped my program several times since 2021 when I launched it. And I just did a huge revamping for the paid ads training for 2024 because so many things have changed. But anyway, so I want to dive in number one with paid ad myths that you might be following, and it also might be preventing you from really diving into running paid ads in the first place. And in this, episode, you're also going to learn why these things work so well if you do it right. Okay. So number one, probably the biggest paid ad myth that I hear time and time and time again, and I think it's perpetuated through Facebook groups, but also through really bad ads coaches, because there's a lot of really kind of crappy ads coaches in the wedding industry. Trust me, I know them, and they're not great. And the biggest thing that I see is that you must discount or you must give things away for ads to work. And again, I think this is just the default because discounts and giveaways are really easy. They're kind of like the lowest hanging fruit in paid advertising. And this is what you see every single freaking discount-based brand do. Walmart, McDonald's, like whatever. They're always running discounts. So we see that, right? And we're like, oh, okay. So if I want to book weddings, then I just need to discount things, or do a giveaway, like an engagement session giveaway. Like I've seen ads coaches literally in their entire program say, hey, you have to do an ongoing engagement session giveaway. How many of us have freaking fell for that, right? Luckily not me. But I know a lot of you guys have. So, and it really pisses me off, just being totally frank, because I get people who come to me after investing in those programs, and they're spending a lot. Like, these programs are high ticket, just like mine, but then they're being taught to just discount and give away. And, you know, they're working 100 leads a month, and the coach is like, oh, we're getting 100 leads a month. But then, like, you're taking 100 sales calls a month and you're only booking a wedding or two from it. And you're spending all of your time on the phone or shooting for free and losing that work, instead of just getting, you know, 2 or 3 inquiries a week that are high value and closing 60 to 70% of them. So that's a rant. I'm going to bring it back now because it really fires me up, because these ads coaches are making people broke and it pisses me off. That's a video for another time, though. Trust me, I have that one planned, and it's going to be fire. But anyway, so paid ad myths. The number one thing that I see is that you have to discount and give things away. And again, like, this is the lowest hanging fruit. So a lot of people think this is what you have to do. However, this is not the case. Now, if you're charging under like $2,000 consistently for your weddings, maybe even under $3,000 consistently for your weddings, like, this can work pretty well. I'm not going to lie. And I think this is why, like, a lot of the other ads coaches kind of prey on people who are lower priced to do this, because number one, it's really easy to book with discounts and giveaways if you're under like $2,000 or $3,000, and maybe you're averaging $1,000 or $2,000 per wedding. And you know, that's because when you run discounts and giveaways, you are attracting those people just by nature who have lower budgets. And that's why they work pretty well for people who are low priced, but they don't work well at all for those of you out there who are wanting to charge more than $2,000 or $3,000, and you're wanting to get up to, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, whatever. If you center your brand around discounts or giveaways, you will not be attracting the types of people into your business that will pay you those prices. You know that, right? Like, that's common sense when we think about it. If you have a wedding couple, like, you know, an engaged couple, and they are expecting and wanting to spend a lot of money, meaning 3, 5, 10, 15, 20,000 or more on a wedding photographer or filmmaker, and then they see an ad from somebody who's saying, oh, it's $2,000 usually, but for this week only, you can get me $4,000 photo and video for 12 hours. They're going to be like, yeah, no. Like that. So we don't run discounts and giveaways. You totally can, but this is not what I teach in my program, because I actually want to help you build a high value, sustainable brand. So discounts and giveaways, biggest myth, you do not have to do them. You can, but if you are charging over $3,000, I will say, please do not, because you will, number one, just be hurting your brand value, and you will not be attracting the right types of clients in your business. And while you might book from it, you will be spending far more in your overall cost per booking when we're talking about ad spend to book that wedding. So, and you'll be overworked. So just don't do it. It's not fantastic. Just, you know, don't do it is my main advice there. So number 2, paid ad myths, ads are saturated. This is obviously not the case. Now I see this a lot in Facebook groups. I actually saw this literally yesterday. Somebody was saying like, oh, ads are saturated right now because blah, 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 blah. And I hear that all year, because people will be like, oh, it's saturated because it's January and people just got engaged, or it's saturated because it's Black Friday, or it's saturated because it's the spring, or whatever else. Ads are never saturated, okay? There are a lot of people who run ads, yes. However, the nature of content-based advertising, which content-based advertising is what we do with Facebook and Instagram. It is content-based. You are advertising an image or a video. That's what you're advertising, right? So it's content. Search-based is where you're advertising on Google, right? So content-based advertising, by their nature, is not saturated. By their nature, you are separating yourself from your competition. Okay? Because instead of you being, you know, let's say you have an Instagram account, right? Hopefully you do. And somebody is searching for a wedding photographer, they're going to find you and 1,000 other people, right? So you are in that competition. However, when somebody is just scrolling and they're not looking for a photographer, and then your ad pops up, and in their minds they say, oh yeah, I need to find a wedding photographer. Oh my God, I love their work. You are separating yourself from the competition. Okay? Content-based advertising, the nature of it, right, is so that you are not in a market that's saturated. Okay. Now, With that said, I do recognize there are a lot of people who run ads, and I get this all the time from people who join Full Time Wedding Pro. They're like, yeah, I saw your ads and I saw ads from all these other educators, but I joined you, right? So, yeah, even though these people might be seeing other ads, if your content resonates with them, or if your personality, your brand resonates with them, it doesn't matter, right? So don't listen to the whole, oh, ads are saturated and they don't work. Because number one, if that was true, I wouldn't be where I am right now with my wedding business or my coaching business. And my students wouldn't be where they are right now either. Again, check the IG highlight that says results and you'll see. So ads are saturated. They're not. Just ignore it. It's not true. Number 3, you only get low budget clients. This is also untrue because of number 1, right? So everybody's like, oh, you have to discount and give things away and blah, blah, blah. And then that gets them low budget clients. So the myth there is, oh, you can only get low budget clients from ads. Not true. I've got students in the program who are booking 10, 15, 20K weddings from paid ads. Myself, I book 10K plus from paid ads most of the time. So if that's low budget for you, then I guess the answer to this could be yes. Like if you're an ultra luxe photographer and you're charging 30, 40, 50 grand for a wedding and you're only working with like multi-billionaires or multi-millionaires or their families, and those people are not on social media, then yeah, I guess like 20 grand might be low budget for you. So maybe you shouldn't run paid ads. You should just form vendor relationships. But if you're between 10 and 20 grand, and especially if you're under 10 grand, you will be getting your ideal clients, I promise, because these people are on social media. And if they're on social media, we can show an ad to them. Okay. Again, check the results highlight in the Instagram if you want proof of that. And then, so number 4 is Facebook versus Instagram. I see this a lot where like, oh, the clients on Facebook are always broke, or like the clients on Instagram are always broke. And I want you to answer this question honestly. And this answer might be no for some of you, but it might be yes for some of you. Would you spend 5 grand or 10 grand on a wedding photographer? And if the answer is yes, are you on Facebook? Because I am, and I would. So I know that if I am and I would, then there are other people who are and who would. And you would be surprised at the amount of people on Facebook when you start running ads that you'll be like, oh, I thought my ideal audience was on Instagram, but I'm getting a lot of traction from Facebook. This is weird. Yeah, because most of the people who are on Instagram are also on Facebook. Facebook is still one of, if not, I think it's right behind TikTok as far as like monthly users. And then Instagram is 3rd or 4th. And YouTube is in there somewhere. So Facebook is still one of the biggest players in the game. Facebook and Instagram right behind TikTok. So don't discount Facebook, okay? Just because you have seen Facebook groups where people are like, oh, I need a wedding photographer for $500 and blah, 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 or like a loaf of bread. Like, it doesn't mean that's everyone, okay? The people who have high budgets, they're not posting in Facebook groups, okay? So if your data set there, if your echo chamber is just Facebook groups, then yeah, you're going to be conditioned to think that, oh, all these people on Facebook are low budget, but that's just not the case, I promise. So anyway, Facebook versus Instagram. Also, it doesn't matter because if you're running ads on Meta platforms through the Ads Manager, which is what I recommend, you'll be running on both platforms. So it doesn't really matter that much whether you think Instagram or Facebook is better, because Meta will decide that for you, because whatever platform you get the best results on, they're going to put more of your budget toward that platform. That's just how it works. So don't worry about Facebook versus Instagram. They're both the same. The people who are on it usually are very similar, even if somebody doesn't use Facebook as much as Instagram or vice versa. Okay, so don't worry about it. Now, number 5, targeting is complicated and confusing. This is a huge, huge, huge thing that, again, has been perpetuated by ads coaches. And that also includes myself up until this year. Because we all used to be like, oh, you need to target people who are newly engaged or engaged, and then you need to like, target all of their like brands that they follow and like their lifestyles. If they travel, you got to target their income, blah, 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 blah. Guys, it doesn't matter anymore. And this, unfortunately, this has been the case for several years, but people are just kind of starting to find out. And I didn't really find this out until I consulted with an agency owner who does hundreds of thousands of dollars per day in ad spend from huge brands, like huge retail brands and all of that stuff, even car brands and stuff like that. They're all using broad targeting, right? So we are obviously narrowing down by gender, by location, by age, but everything else, interest-based, it's all out the door. Okay. And I mean this, I've done several multi six figures this year, and I've spent somewhere, well, when I mean this year, I mean 2023, because it's January 2024 right now. And I've spent over $30,000, excuse me. Can't talk right now. I got to drink my coffee. Anyway, I've spent over 30 grand in 2023 just in ad spend alone. All of it, broad targeting, right? The way we target, I'll talk about this when we get to number 2 in this video, is it's all copywriting and branding, okay? So targeting, it's not confusing, it's not complicated, and I am the only ads coach that's saying this for free. And I know all of the other ads coaches are still teaching you how to interest target. And I'm going to talk about this in a future video, but I joined a coaching program last September where it was for coaches. It wasn't for photographers, because I joined it so that way I could help scale Full-Time Wedding Pro. And they taught interest-based targeting. And I was like, you know what? They're getting some good results. I might as well try it. Before that, I had been getting consistently a 12x return on investment. And that was with broad targeting. So $1 in, I would get $12 out. And this is specifically referring to Full-Time Wedding Pro, my coaching program, not my photography business. I tried their interest-based targeting and their ad strategies, and that 12x return went to a 2x return. And I lost a lot of money. So that said, if your ads coach right now is teaching you to target all of these different things and target newly engaged in the last 6 months, just know that they're teaching you ad strategies that were working in 2018 and 2019, and that they are not working as well now. Ever since I've made that switch at the earlier part of this year, all of my students' results have absolutely skyrocketed. So, but with that said, don't just take your ads that you're running now and then take out all your targeting and try to work it, because you need to make this up with really, really good ad copy and really solid branding. That's what does your targeting for you. So again, I'm the only ads coach in this industry right now that is saying this for free. So please understand that targeting, a lot of coaches hide behind it to try to sell you. That's not what I'm doing, because I don't believe in that stuff. Targeting is not complicated or confusing. The biggest thing that you're going to be doing with targeting is just your ad copy and your brand. And then, so that's number 5. Number 6, and the last one for paid ad myth, is that ads are risky. Ads are not risky. Now, if you're treating ads like a slot machine, like a lot of ads coaches teach you, this video is just me slamming other ads coaches. I'm so sorry, but it's true. So if you play ads like a slot machine and you're like, oh, I'm going to put $10 in and $20 in, and oh, I didn't get an inquiry, I'm going to quit. Yeah, ads are risky if you do that. Or ads are risky if you're just boosting posts, or if you're just trying things on your own without hiring a coach. Ads are pretty risky if you do that, right? And if you're not really learning and putting your money and your time and effort into learning this stuff, ads can be pretty risky because you're investing in something. Like, I don't think any of you would just go out and just buy a $3,000 camera without doing any research on it, right? So don't do that with your business investments. That's a horrible business idea. And I talk about this in number 2, like learn this stuff from somebody who's done it consistently and who's gotten amazing results from it. Not trying to pump myself up, but hey, Full-Time Wedding Pro is here, link in the description. So anyway, ads are risky if you don't treat them like an actual business investment, and if you don't take your time, money, and really just due diligence in learning this stuff properly, okay? Because you can lose a lot of money. I've talked to people who have spent upwards of $10,000 and not booked a single wedding because they just didn't know what they were doing and they were just trial and erroring everything. And I've been there, myself. So learn this from somebody who's done it, and that's going to be my biggest advice for you. So that is all paid ad myths. All 6 of them. I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 2 in this video, which is how to actually make ads work. This is going to be pretty short. And then we're going to go into the actual ad strategy so you actually can see like what we're doing as far as booking weddings with paid advertising. So number 2, making ads work, how to actually advertise properly. Okay. Number 1, this is This is the most important thing, that if you get nothing from this video, this is the most important thing. Your brand messaging, your pricing and offer structure, and your sales skills are 99% of your ad success. This is what will either make or break your paid advertising. It's not the ad strategy. It's not the offer that you make in your ad. It is your brand messaging, your pricing and offer structure, and your sales skills. If any of those are lacking, you will be losing money with ads. And when I mean losing money, I don't mean that you're not profiting. I just mean that you're not profiting as much as you could be. Because if you run ads and you have kind of a crappy brand, you might get a 2x return on ad spend, which is technically profitable. But I mean, if you're charging $5,000 and you're spending $2,500 in ads to book a wedding, you're not making that much profit, right? And that's not sustainable. So you need to have your brand messaging, your pricing and offer structure, and your sales skills at the top priority for your ads to work. And this is why in Full-Time Wedding Pro, if you've applied and booked a call with me and you've watched my sales video for the program, which goes over everything, including the price point, before we get on the phone, because I'm aware of your time, you know that phase 1 of the program is all of this. It is really refining your brand. It's pricing and offer. And I get some people every now and then who have a little bit of an ego, and that's okay, who apply for the program and they're like, oh, well, I just need to learn ads. I don't need to learn the brand, or I don't need to refine my pricing. And then I look at their website and I'm like, And the reason why this notion, and if that's you right now, like I'm coming to you from grace, I understand. However, what you need to understand is if you've built your business based off of referrals and you've been booking a lot from word of mouth or even social media, then yeah, you might think, oh, your brand is really good because it's working really well with warm traffic. Warm traffic is people who have heard of you before, either through a referral or a client, a vendor, whatever. Or they've been following your social media for a long time. Your brand doesn't have to be that great to book those people, and that's just the honest truth. But when you start sending your ads and your brand to cold people who've never seen you before, that changes very quickly. I've had people in my coaching program skip phase 1 and go to phase 2 against my advice. And they're like, why aren't my ads working? And then I look at their brand and I'm like, did you not listen to anything I said? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, that's why. So your brand messaging, your pricing and offer structure, and your sales skills, that is 99% of your ad success. Ads are not a silver bullet. You have to have this stuff in place first, which is why I teach it first. And going back to the myth about targeting, we're not targeting, right? So we're just doing broad targeting and we're letting our ad copy and our brand messaging do our targeting for us. And we have full control over that because if we want to get a very specific type of client, we just need to center our brand around that. But if you don't know how to do that, if you're not good at copywriting, then you're going to have trouble. And that's just kind of the way it is, which is why I say hire a coach and learn, do what they teach you. And this will help you. Okay. Whether it's myself or someone else. So that's number 1. Number 2, ads are an investment, not a get rich quick scheme. Okay. So, and I say this because all of my students, even if like they're really crushing it and they've got a really, really efficient ad strategy, they're still spending somewhere between 5 and 10% of their booking cost to book a wedding. And we call this our cost per acquisition, or CPA. So, and I know there's a lot of words and I'm sorry, but so like, if for example, you're charging $5,000, a good CPA, a good cost per booking, essentially is what that is, might be, if you're charging $5,000, might be $250 to $500 in ad spend. So you're making a 10 to 20x return on your investment. Now I have students who do more than that. I've had students go up to 30% before, but most of my students fall somewhere between 10 and 20%, or excuse me, 10 and 20x profit. So they're at, they're making, if they're charging $5,000, for example, they're spending somewhere between $250 to $500 in ad spend to book a wedding. If they're charging $10,000, they're spending somewhere between $500 and $1,000. So you can estimate that somewhere up to 10% of your booking cost will be spent on ads. And that's an investment, right? This is not like, and that's just the way things are. And if you, oh my God, if you freaking get an ad from a coach that says you can book 5 weddings a month at $10 a day, they're fucking lying to you. Or they're running a giveaway. They're going to teach you to run a giveaway, and then you're going to be working 1,000 leads a month. That's obviously hyperbole, but you're going to be drowning in work, and not the good kind of work. You're going to be doing free sales calls and free engagement shoots, and you're going to be miserable. So listen, if you get an ad, and I see it all the time, that says you can, how to book 5 to 10 weddings a month at $10 a day in ads, they're lying to you. Okay. And it's never like that. This is an investment. Okay. And in every other industry in the world, a 10 to 20x ROI is insane. Okay. Weddings, this industry is one of the highest value and highest profit industries I've ever seen in my life. And it's just the case. So yeah, you will be investing in ads. And I tell people, if you're joining Full-Time Wedding Pro, number one, it's an investment, and it's an expensive program. I wouldn't say expensive, actually. I would say it is an investment. It's just like buying a camera and a lens. Like, you will be spending a lot. It'll take you 1 or 2 weddings to pay it off. And the reason why, number one, is I spend a lot of my time helping you. But number two is because, like, I want to show you this is an investment. I don't want to lie to you. Like, you're going to need $500 to $1,000 in money to invest in your ads to get a return on them. And that's just the way it is. Okay. So ads are an investment. They are not a get rich quick scheme. This is a business investment. So please, God, treat it like a business. Okay. We're not just throwing money in a wall and seeing what sticks here. This is proven, and this is an investment. All right. So this is the number one thing I teach in my program when we start paid ads is like, hey, this is an investment, and be willing to spend money and lose money on the front end to make it back within a few weeks. That's usually how ads work. So anyway, that's number 2. Number 3, tracking numbers is crucial. If you know your CPA, you can scale to the moon. And this is really self-explanatory. Tracking our numbers every day is super important. If you know how much you're spending on ads, and okay, for example, again, if you're spending $5,000 and you know that you can spend $250 per wedding booked, then cool. If you want to book 2 weddings a month, spend $500 a month in ads. If you want to book 5 weddings a month, spend, the math just escaped me. If you want to book 10 weddings a month, spend $2,500 in ads. Obviously that's a hyperbole again, but for example, if you know that you can spend 5% of your booking cost on ads to book a wedding, and you want to make $100,000 at the end of the year, then you need to spend 5% of that, or $5,000 in advertising to book $100,000 in weddings. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. So once you know that, the game of booking weddings is just increasing your ad spend. That's it. You don't have to worry about time of year. You don't have to worry about seasons. It doesn't matter. Even the market, really, it doesn't matter. It is controlled and it is consistent, because that's how paid advertising works. If it didn't work like that, you wouldn't have ginormous Fortune 500 companies investing millions of dollars a day in paid ads, because if they weren't consistent, they wouldn't do it, because that's not a smart business move. Okay. So paid ads, this is a game, but this is not a slot machine. All right. I need you to understand that. Number 4, copy and content is everything. I kind of already touched on this, but since, all of our targeting is done through our ad copy and our content we are putting in the ads. That's the real secret sauce to this. Okay. So if you're wondering, what's the secret to making ads work? It's the copy, it's your brand, and it's content. That is it. All right. This is probably the biggest thing that I work with my students on in coaching calls, is just creating really good copy and really good content. And yes, you can use ChatGPT for it. However, you need to be aware that it needs to be on brand for you. I've seen a lot of ads in my Instagram and Facebook news feeds where I can tell that it's ChatGPT copy and it's not good. So please, if you're playing the ChatGPT game, it's fantastic. I love it. I teach how to use it in the program a little bit. We're getting more and more into that as time goes on. And it's fantastic to use, but you have to use it right. Okay. So that's number 4. Copy and content is everything. Number 5, test. A lot of times, sometimes I'll have a student and they'll just run 1 or 2 ads and it'll absolutely hit, and they're making amazing money right out of the gate. But usually it's a game of testing. Okay. So you'll have to test several iterations of your ads to really find a winner that works. And that's okay, because you don't know. And even I don't know, like I tell this to my students, I don't know for sure what ad is going to work best for your audience, because I'm not your audience, right? I'm a coach and a photographer. I'm not an engaged couple. I'm not a bride. I'm not a groom, whatever. So I don't know really what's going to work best for your audience. You have to know that, and you have to test it. And then, you'll go through a few iterations. Some ads might not work great, and that's okay. When you find a winner, that's when you can really nail down your CPA and you can scale to the moon. Again, numbers. This is a game. This is a business investment. You have to know your numbers. And then number 6, hire a coach to help you. Now, obviously, this can be me. I'm biased. I feel like I'm pretty great. My students get amazing results, but you do not have to hire me. Obviously, there are other ads coaches. Just please be aware of what I mentioned in this video and ask the right questions, okay? If your ads coaches are telling you that you need to target a whole bunch of different interests, red flag. If your ads coaches are telling you that you need to get discounts and giveaways, red flag. If your ads coaches are saying, hey, your brand messaging and pricing and offer and sales skills aren't that important, red flag. If they're saying that you can book 5 weddings a month at $10 a day, red flag. Okay, so go after a coach who is, if it's not me, that's fine, because I know I won't vibe with everyone, and that's okay. But if you go after a coach that is not saying these things, that is a red flag. So go after it. Okay, so that's number 6. Hire a coach to help you. It is invaluable, I promise. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the ad strategy. Okay, now this is going to be the quickest part of this video. Mostly because this is actually really, really simple. The most complex part about advertising is just the fact that you need to have your brand right. You need to have your pricing in a way that is compelling. You have a really good offer, and you need to have good sales skills. Okay. Again, so the actual ad strategy is it is important, but it is just it's the cherry on top, right? It is not the actual thing that's going to drive the most results for you. So we have 2 main ad strategies. Okay. Number 1, we run a lead magnet, which is giving away a piece of information, not giving away work. So don't get it confused with that. Some people like to say, oh, a lead magnet is a free engagement session. That's bullshit. That's not what that is. A free engagement session is a giveaway. We are giving away a piece of information, a piece of content to solve a problem in our clients' lives. Okay, that is what a lead magnet is. And I'll go into examples here in a second. So that's number 1. Number 2 is we run a DTO, or a direct to offer ad. Okay, and you could also say direct offer, if you want to simplify it. But essentially, a DTO ad is what you think of when you think of an advertisement. It is what every company does, right? It's the McDonald's of the world, the Walmarts, the Tesla doesn't advertise, but Nissan, like Ford, whatever, they're saying, hey, we have this product. We know you want this product, so come learn more about this product. That is essentially a direct offer ad. It is literally just saying, hey, I'm a photographer, I'm a filmmaker, you're engaged, let's chat. That's essentially what a direct offer ad is. It's not that simple, obviously, but that's essentially what it is. So basically, also my Miro is being updated, so hopefully you can still see this okay. But anyway, if you're listening, it doesn't matter. So essentially, a lead magnet ad is something where you're giving away a piece of content, right? So this could be a planning guide. This could be a video. This could be a blog post. This could be a mini course. This could be a paid mini course. If you don't want to do it for free, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Essentially, a lead magnet goes to an information capture either page, or you can do it over Messenger. It doesn't matter. Where essentially you're saying, hey, if you're engaged and you have this specific problem, and I want to solve this problem for you, so I am going to offer this thing to you for free, and I'm going to get your name and your email or your Instagram or whatever else in exchange for this. And then once you do that, so that's the ad, and then once you do that, you start a follow-up process. And that's where you can put them on an email sequence, or you can put them in a Facebook group, or you can manually follow up with them if you want to. It doesn't matter, right? And you want to help them along their journey of solving whatever issue that is. Again, that could be wedding planning. It could be finding a vendor. It could be styles, could be outfit ideas, could be trends, whatever. It doesn't matter. And with that follow-up process, you are guiding them along their buyer journey to eventually send you an inquiry. Obviously, once they send you an inquiry, that's fantastic. We get them on a consultation call, and boom, they're sold. That's the ideal version of this. Now, the lead magnet ad, the reason why we don't only run this is because by their nature, they're getting people who are in the beginning stages of their engagement journey. So they've probably just gotten engaged, right? And they're not really ready to hire a photographer or filmmaker yet, and that's okay. The purpose of this is not to get immediate results. It's to build long-term brand visibility for them, okay? So these people coming in from a lead magnet ad might not hire you in the very beginning. They might hire you in a month or 6 months or even a year. And that's okay, because number one, this is really, really cheap. And number two, this is again, an investment, an upfront investment to get you long-term results. Now, This is where the DTO ad comes in, or the direct offer ad. This is where we're sending people to a piece of content, and that content might be our Instagram, it could be our website, it could be a very specific piece of content, and that is designed to sell them on our services. Okay, so this ad is going to be attracting people who are ready to hire a photographer or a filmmaker, and the lead magnet ad is attracting everyone who just got engaged usually. So with this piece of content, a solid portion of these people are going to just submit you an inquiry. And these inquiries will be a little bit more expensive, especially if they've seen your starting rate. Like, full transparency, my starting rate on my website is $8,000. So I'm spending a solid $100 to $200 per inquiry. And some people might say that, and some ads coaches might see that and be like, oh, that's horrible. But it's really not when you think about it. Because number one, these people know my rate. These people know my starting price. And my starting price on my website, like I said, is $8,000. So I'm only spending about $150 to $200 in ad spend to get someone who has already said, yes, I will pay $8,000 to this person if we're a good fit. And that's why, if I'm available on their date and if I choose to accept the wedding, because I turn away a lot of people, I am booking more than half of my inquiries, my actual inquiries, not just people who I get on the phone with. Okay. So that's why I love direct offer ads. I've had students in the program who are freaking crushing this. I actually had a coaching call literally yesterday with one of my members of the program, and he was spending $15 per wedding inquiry. That's insane. And that is totally not typical. You probably won't get that result. But that's just, it shows you what's possible, right? So the lead magnet ad, again, is to get people in the very beginning stages of their engagement journey. And then the direct offer ad is to get people who are ready to hire a photographer. These two in tandem, obviously with retargeting, which is this whole other thing, and we can talk about that later. These two in tandem are how you can spend $250 to $500 to book a 5K wedding or whatever else. This is how you can make $100 or $2 or $3 or $4 or $500,000 a year, only spending 5 to 10% of that in ad spend. This is how it works. This is everything that I teach in Full-Time Wedding Pro. So, my friends, that is the end of this video. Let me go ahead and switch back to me. So, if you want to learn more information about how we do this, if you want to really learn how to refine your brand, if you want to learn how to refine your ad copy, how to refine your price point, and, obviously increase your price point as well, be really confident when in your consultation calls when you're selling to people, and learn how to run these ads in fully in depth, get on coaching calls with me, go to fulltimeweddingpro.com or click the link in the description and fill out an application to book a call with me. And then once you do, I will send you a video that goes over the entire offer with the full price point. You'll know everything before we get on the phone. So that way, if it's not a good fit for you, or if you can't afford it or whatever else, you can just cancel the call. It's no big deal. And then we will talk further. But my friends, hopefully you like this. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please follow and leave me a rating and review. That helps me so much. And I will see you in future videos. Goodbye, my friends.